Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with, reference recordings. And we're talking about Bruckner's Sixth. And this is such an easy call. I'm so happy. Klemperer. It's Klemperer. It has to be Klemperer. It was always Klemperer. A very interesting interpretation, however, because it's not typical. It's different from all of the others. And that's one of these rare cases where the reference recording has certain individual qualities that one doesn't normally find in a reference recording, but there are exceptions to every rule, and this is one of them. The exceptions stem from the fact that this was the only show in town for like decades, aside from complete editions, complete symphony cycles. You know, if you just wanted to get Bruckner's Sixth and you wanted like a really famous conductor, I mean, Joachim had his cycle going, on Deutsche Grammophon at the time that this came out. When was this? 1965, it looks like, around there. And there was the Joseph Keilberth recording, you may recall, on Telefunken with the Berlin Philharmonic, which was very difficult to find. It really was. And I remember when it came out on CD and everyone was like, oh, look, there's a Bruckner Sixth that Keilberth did. Who knew? It was a mystery. Now, of course, they're all Warner. So you could have a whole Bruckner Sixth box, headlined by Klemperer and Keilberth and then everybody else. The bottom line is that the Sixth was the stepchild of the mature Bruckner symphonies. Everybody listened to Bruckner because of number 7 and maybe 9 and sort of 8, depending on which version you used, in the Haas edition mostly, or the old corrupt editions, kind of. But number 6 was avoided. And it's very strange that it was avoided because it's a masterpiece. It's fully mature. There are no questions about differing editions. And it's not too long. I mean, in this performance, it's, 16 and 14 is 30, 31, 32, plus 41, plus 54 minutes. I mean, it's a nice, big, juicy, romantic symphony in length. So why was this symphony so neglected? I just can't explain it because it's delightful. It's a wonderful, wonderful work. It does have the typically non-happening Bruckner finale, which you can sort of get over quickly enough. And certainly in this performance, it just works fine. And Klemperer's performance, well, it's a Klemperer performance. What typifies a Klemperer performance? Well, forwardly balanced woodwinds, which is always a good thing. Always a good thing, without a doubt. And a very unsentimental and rather swift approach to the slow movements, to the adagios, which is surprising because, the thing now is to play them as slowly as humanly possible. I mean, drag them out indefinitely. But this one is 14 minutes long. It's actually quicker than the first movement, which is kind of nifty. The first movement is 16 minutes long, but the fascinating thing about the first movement is that Klemperer essentially reverses the normal tempo relationships between the opening and the second subject, the lyrical, songful second subject, by playing them strictly in the same tempo and taking the opening idea, da da dum, ba ba da 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 dum. That business, taking that very slowly, if that measured rhythm, jump ba da 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 dum, ba da 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 dum, ba da 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 dum, like that. I think it's wonderful. I really do. It makes the whole exposition seem to gain energy and acceleration as it goes, where the first subject is like monumental and grand, but the second subject is very flowing and lyrical. It's wonderful. I when I talked about this performance a while ago, someone sent in a raft of comments about minor technical issues with the orchestral execution and how it was an abomination that Klemperer doesn't speed up for the lyrical second subject like everybody else does. Well, I mean, the thing that makes this so wonderful is that he doesn't do what everybody else does. And so we have a fabulous performance of the Bruckner Sixth, and it was beautifully recorded, too. The sound is just glowing. It's lovely. The Philharmonia plays wonderfully. It's terrific. But the really nifty thing is that it leaves plenty of space for you to hear more traditional conceptions and perhaps prefer them. You may like them more than you do this version, but wow, is this powerful stuff. It has its own, legitimacy and integrity and and it's got everything going for it. And so it was the perfect way to get to know the Bruckner Sixth. It's my favorite Bruckner Sixth. Well, one of them now. I mean, there have been others. Gunter Von did a couple that were just tremendous. So I mean, there are a couple others, but this is still just as marvelous as the first time I heard it, and it is every bit a reference recording. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.